Alright guys, good morning. Happy Friday. Today is May 8th, 2020. And this is my weekly Friday special. Be sure to tune in next week, which will be the Friday before the would-be Hamvention weekend. I've already spoken to several vendors, and you're going to see some sales specials that day for Hamvention sales specials that might have been happening on the weekend of the actual Hamvention if it were happening, but are going to be happening online instead. Looking forward to that. So today we're going to talk about something that was a comment from one of my subscribers, or one of my viewers at least. And he's like, how come none of these videos, and he wasn't talking specifically about mine, but he was like, how come these videos, every time I see something about radio gear for sale, nobody ever talks about used stuff? That's a good, it's a good question. So today we're going to go through a few spots to find good used gear. Now, one thing about used gear, the prices on used gear can really be all over the board. Some guy might be selling an old IC7000 for about $500 at a ham fest, and then you might get on eBay or something and find that same exact radio for twice as much money. Some people overprice used stuff, and then it sits on their shelf or sits on their table for a long time because they can't sell it because they're asking too much money for it. Other people price it real low because they just want to get rid of it. So it really depends on what you're looking for. My suggestion would be to find prices, or compare prices on multiple sites before you decide to purchase from somewhere. I mean, unless you really understand the pricing on whatever you're looking for, you don't want to end up paying too much for a used piece of equipment. So I'm going to go through a few used sites here that you can find some stuff, and one of these sites is swap.qth.com. Now, I've used this site in the past, although it's been a long time. I believe, if I remember correctly, I bought my very first ICOM IC706 Mark II, the one with all HF 6 meters and 2 meters, but it didn't have 440. I'm pretty sure I bought it from a guy that had it listed on this site. But I don't know that I've been back there since then. Nothing wrong with the site, just I don't go here very much. So you can find a lot of good used stuff, and again, all of these links will be in the description below. So this guy says WTB means want to buy. So FS is for sale, obviously. You don't have to put FS. This guy's got a Yaesu FT 991 for sale. Very nice condition, cosmetic clean, smoke-free home, works perfectly. Radio, DC cable, hand mic included, 900 or best offer. Shipping price negotiable. So he doesn't list the box or the manual or any accessories in there. He may not have that kind of thing. So you can go down here. Next 10 ads, you can search. I think there's a way to search on this. Classifieds home. Search ads right there. I knew it was there somewhere. So you can search for ads. If you're looking for something specific, say, I want to look for a used IC7200. IC7200. Search ads. There we go. So, that's not what that is. There it is. Wanted nifty manual. So this guy's wanting a manual. Radio HF. ICOM 7200 man pack with extras. I have to read and see what that is. For sale, IC 7200. There it is right there, and there's a picture. So you can read all about it there. So swap.qth.com is a place to find used gear if that's what you're looking for. Another one that I generally recommend, and I've sold and purchased several things on here over the course of the last year, is the swap forums on QRZ. Gosh, I can't talk this morning, it's too early. The swap pages on QRZ.com. So you can find lots of good stuff on QRZ. And people have to, one of the good things about QRZ, and I don't remember, this may or may not be true for QTH, QRZ.com. I'm not sure about it, but on QRZ for sure, no one can post an item for sale unless they have a registered call sign, like you'll see down here on this right-hand side, K7QB, K7RES, K7STI. All the 7 people are listing stuff for sale today. KC2 Bob, K9ZMD. All of these guys are registered call signs, and you can find their information, contact information here on QRZ, so you know more who you're buying from. It's a little bit safer to know who you're buying from on this website. This guy just sold a Shark RF OpenSpot 1, recently upgraded to the 3. No longer need this one. $150 including shipping. That's pretty good. Those things used to go for about $230, and a lot of people wish they were still made. So that's and it's been sold. You can tell it's sold, for sale. Sometimes this will say trade, sale or trade. Sometimes it'll say sale or trade. But you can go through here and search for stuff. You can just type your search in right there and search for whatever you're wanting to search for, and find a lot of good used stuff there as well. One way to kind of know what stuff is worth, if you don't really have any idea about whatever you're searching for. Say you want to search for an IC7200, but you don't know exactly what a good price would be. You can search for that here, and then you can see what, like, go through this, like this one right here is sold. Okay, well, what did it sell for? $550. Okay, local pickup only near Fort Smith, Arkansas. So he didn't ship it, so it was $550, no shipping. So take that into consideration. This one sold with a tuner, $800, or best offer. So I don't know what his best offer was. Sometimes they'll put that down here. Sometimes they won't. So you can kind of poke around through here and figure out what people sold stuff for, and then you can get a ballpark idea of what you should be willing to pay for whatever rig you're looking for. And it doesn't have to be a radio. It could be an antenna, a tuner, an analyzer. All kinds of used gear is sold here on the QRZ swap pages. Just go to QRZ.com, swap meet, ham radio gear for sale. They have a page you saw there, ham radio gear wanted. So if you're wanting something specific, just post it in there. Ham made gear, homebrew stuff. Kind of cool. So wanted. This guy wants a IC 743 Pro, a 5A 25 to 60 megahertz 5 watt element bird. That's a watt meter, power meter. So end-fed antenna or balun, that kind of thing. So if you want something specific and can't find it, post it in here. Somebody may have it. The next one is EHAM.net, and if you just Google EHAM.net, you can find the page that goes, this is what their front page looks like. But then you've got classifieds here right at the top in the middle. Click on classifieds, it goes to the classifieds link right there. And this is a little bit more visually laid out, a little bit visually better than QRZ, because you've got your picture right there on the front page. I haven't bought anything off of EHAM in a while. I have in the past. I've got an EHAM account. I don't get on here much. I spend most of my time on QRZ. But that's just really just personal preference. There's no reason behind that. EHAM's a good site to find stuff or chat forums or whatever. We're talking about used gear today, so that's the page we're on. The Ameritron ALA80 with extra tube, asking $800. I'll also include a spare 3-500Z tube, and those are $150, something like that, if I remember correctly. So this guy's selling that, and you can click here. Login required. Posted by. See, I'm not logged in to EHAM right now. Otherwise, it would say his info. I don't think it's been a while since I've logged into EHAM. Let's see if I even remember my login info. Ha! There you go. So classifieds. Classifieds. Oh, wow, that's not as nearly as pretty as configure. Detailed view. Ah, so I was on the detailed view. Okay. So there you go. So that one's been being sold by Into in UNL, and it's in the HF amplifiers category. You can search categories as well. Showing 1 to 20 of 16,000 items posted in this category. KPA 500. So EHAM.net/classifieds. Again, these links will be in the description below. The last one, well, one of the last ones, I might talk about Facebook also. So eBay is kind of hot or cold. People either like eBay or they really don't like eBay. So what I would suggest for eBay, when I first created an eBay account, 20 years ago now, the reason I created an eBay account was to search for ham radio gear. I bought a couple of older 2-meter only rigs by Yaesu, I think they were, and I set them up as a base station in the apartment I was living in at the time, and I got a good deal on them, and they worked for a while, and I was happy with them. So I've always had a pretty good experience with eBay. Sometimes you can kind of get burned on eBay stuff, and usually you can get it fixed. Usually eBay's good about that, but use your own experience with eBay. But one thing about eBay for sure that's really good is you can get a really good idea of pricing of what stuff will sell for on eBay. So let's go back to the ICOM IC7200 that I talked about earlier and search that. And now we see all this stuff here. And then you can scroll down to the left over here and you can choose completed items. Checkbox. Right, yeah. Okay, so this, well, it's out of the screen now. Zoom back a little bit. There we go. Completed items, right there. And it'll refresh. And then you can see, and then you can scroll down and see, okay, okay. So when the price is in green like that, that means it's sold. The auction is over. And it sold on April 25th, so that was about 2 weeks ago. And this one sold excellent condition with mic and power cables for $692. Most of the time you have to pay shipping on top of that. That one's in Abilene, Texas. Okay, so shipping was $25 on top of that. So that guy paid just under $7.25 for a used IC7200 in excellent condition shipped to him. Okay, that one right there was $700, parts only. So you have to look for that. But you can kind of get a good ballpark of what an IC7200 should sell for. And you might be able to oftentimes get them a little bit cheaper on QRZ. I don't know why. But, you know, if you can sell something for $550 to $600 on eBay, a lot of times you can get it for a little bit less than that on QRZ. I think that maybe people sell them on QRZ and they know they're selling it to hams, so they're a little bit more lenient. Also, I will say, as a seller, QRZ, listing stuff on QRZ, and I'm pretty sure EHAM also, is free. So if I want to sell a $500 radio on QRZ, I can post it up there. Somebody buys it from me and sends me PayPal. I don't have to pay QRZ anything. eBay charges like a 10% commission, which is a lot of times why the price is a little bit higher on eBay. So, like this guy right here who sold the 7200, he's going to have to pay eBay a $70 commission of that sale. So he's actually only going to see $630 of it. The seller is. So that's something to watch out for as well. So consider that. You know, you can look on eBay. You can kind of get, like I said, you can kind of get a good ballpark of what stuff is going for. That way that you can, you know, if you get on QRZ and you see somebody listing an IC7200 at $1,200, then you know that that guy he's either got a lot of accessories with it or he doesn't know what he's doing because he's listing it way too high. Or sometimes you can see a guy putting one on there for $350. and read the description. Make sure you read the description on it. If he's selling one for half of what you're seeing him go for on eBay, make sure it's not broken. Make sure he's not selling it and it's not missing all the knobs or, won't power up or something like that. But if he says in good working condition, just, price to sell or something like that, then that's a really good deal. Okay, the last place I will talk about is Facebook. I have a very love-hate relationship with Facebook, which means I love to hate it. So if you go to the marketplace, facebook.com marketplace, and you can search for ham radio, just like that. Now, the problem with Facebook, it's not really a problem, this might be easier for some people, is it's going to show you all the stuff that's near you. This guy's in Garland. That guy's in Garland. This vintage communication equipment. You're going to find a lot of people who found something in their dad's garage or a relative's garage. I've seen listings on Facebook called Motorola CB radios. People just call stuff CB radios out of habit because they don't know what the heck it is. It's a Motorola UHF mobile radio. Somebody was calling it a CB, and Motorola doesn't make CB radios, or at least they haven't in a long, long time. I don't know that they ever have. Anyway, so you got to be leery of the. Sometimes you got to be aware of the listings. This guy wants an FT101E or double E. That's cool. But you can see that the Aubrey, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Irving, Texas, all these listings are near me because I'm in Grapevine. And so it's not as wide of a variety as you're going to find on QRZ or EHAM or swap.qth. It's just going to be the stuff that's near you. You can finagle that a little bit. You can say, here's the location information. You can finagle that. But a lot of the times people put stuff on Facebook and they don't want to ship it. They want you to come pick it up from them, or they want to meet you somewhere. So just be aware that you may have to, if you find a really good deal and it's 150 miles away, you may have to, you're going to want to make sure the guy is willing to ship it, or you're going to have to drive out there to meet him. So that is that. So those are the spots for used gear that I would recommend. And if you have anything that, there's probably more out there. These are the most commonly used websites, and they've been around for a long, long time. So they're tried and true. Pretty sure all of these have been around since the early days of the internet, and where you could actually buy ham radio gear online. Anyway, so join us next week. Next week will be, once again, the Friday before the would-be Hamvention, and then the following week will be the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, and also the YouTubers Hamfest. Should be some good deals to had on brand new equipment for the next 2 weeks. 73, and we'll see you guys next week.